You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest.
Hi everyone, welcome from your Intuition Queen to a last episode of the year of Intuitive Queens podcast. My name is Mara Marchesi. I am an intuitive and creative coach. I am a healer and I'm the host of this podcast for anybody that doesn't know me yet. So for whoever is following me, you probably know that at the end of September, after a year of podcasting, I decided to take a little bit of a break to focus on other things and figure out how I want to move forward with the podcast. And so I was going to start back on again in 2021. But so many things have happened lately. I felt like I miss podcasting, and so this morning I was like, why not? Why not do like a special Christmas, December last episode of the year, 2020 something episode. So that's why I'm here. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everything is going well. And I know this year has been so crazy for so many reasons. And I know some of you have had some bad experiences, and it's been challenging on a lot of different ways, in a lot of different ways, on a lot of different fronts. And so I'm popping over here because I want to talk about a few things, because I know that we're all waiting for this year to be over. We're all waiting for this pandemic to be over. We are all waiting to go back to our plans and go back to do things as we were doing. That's not going to be necessarily the case for all of us. But I know there is this kind of vibrancy and impatience about this year to be over. And yeah, I want the same. You know, I'm always like, okay, yeah, so what the new year is going to bring. But before we do this, I want to stop and really look at what this year has been, because it has been struggling, it's been challenging, it has been difficult for every one of us. And aside from the global situation and the global issues that we have experienced throughout the months, each and every one of us has had a lot of personal issues which have brought us to make deep changes in our lives and deep changes in the way we see ourselves, or we want to see ourselves. So I want to kind of stop for a second and really look at where we are, what has happened, and what's the energy around us, in order for us to be able to release what doesn't serve us. Because yeah, it has been difficult, it has been stressful, it has been everything that we probably never could imagine could happen at the same time for so long. We've been apart from people that we love, we've been forced to stay indoors, and a lot of us are still not able to do things normally. And this has obviously created a lot of personal situations, because we've been triggered in so many different ways. Like the main trigger has been safety and security, money, job related, relationships, how, you know, a lot of people have split up because they couldn't handle be together for that long. A lot of people have suffered being apart. So whatever your situation has been this year, I just want you to stop for a second, and before charging ahead towards the new year, hoping that it's going to be a better year and trying to forget about this year, I want you to stop for 1 second and thank this year, because I'm pretty sure you have learned amazing lessons. And I do have this feeling where I think this year was year for us to understand more about ourselves, to understand more about what we can do, what we want to do, and how to release what doesn't serve us. So on a general scale, obviously, just the fact that we have been finally allowed to all work from home without, the judgment, or without our bosses saying, oh, that's not possible. Every industry, every area is being affected, that you work in a place where they told you that it's impossible, like if you are a lawyer or anything like this, where they told you you couldn't work from home. Everybody has been able to do so. So this is, yes, taken away the joy of, for whoever loves their job, to go to work and maybe meet your colleagues, and that kind of community that you create at work, if you are in a good place and you don't hate your job. But at the same time, it's given flexibility to so many of us, that, now you can still do your job wherever you are. It doesn't really matter. So this has planted a seed into a new way of being that I'm pretty sure in the new years to come, this will unfold. It's probably, there's still this energy where people will want to go back to the old, some people, where other people will probably be like, oh, okay, no, I actually like this, so I want to continue working from home, maybe not every day, but if there is this possibility, I want to use it because maybe I'm more productive, or I feel like I'm using my time better. So think about what this is meant for you. What is this year, what are the lessons that this year has brought to you? Because there have been so many lessons. I know for me, the constant lesson that I had to learn was to let go of control. And I don't personally consider myself a person that controls, but I do realize that oftentimes, because I'm someone that charges ahead whenever I have a goal or a plan, I get hung up on on making sure that this plan goes well and that I manage to reach my goal. And oftentimes, the way your goal is going to appear to you, the way you're going to reach your goal, doesn't necessarily match with your idea of how you're going to get there. Maybe it's going to take a little longer, maybe it's going to take less. Maybe there is a different way for you to go. You don't know until you start working on it. And oftentimes there are detours, which there is a quote that says, detours are a push in the right direction. It's like the universe pushes you in the right direction. And so I want you to think about your life, the areas of your life that matters for you, and think about what has happened and how can you be, what are the lessons that you learned? How can you be grateful for what has happened to you? Because sometimes, we think about the worst case, whatever happens to us, as the worst thing possible. And then in hindsight, you can actually see that that brought you to maybe behave differently, or maybe take a route that you would have not even considered, but took you to step forward towards your goal, or made you listen to your intuition more, whatever that could be. And sometimes our soul really can surprise us. I can tell you by experience, and this is one thing that has happened to me this year. I was talking to a friend of mine one week saying, no, this can never ever happen. I am thinking of doing this. And 2 weeks later, I was like, I'm actually doing what I said I was not going to do, because things happen, and you might not think that you're going to take a route or another, but what is emerging from you, it's what your soul really wants. And so when we are stuck in our head, we don't even consider oftentimes the nudges that we are feeling. I will be talking about this more in 2021, but this was just a little closure to the year. So it was just a glimpse for you to know that there is a lot coming, but it's just to make you understand that it's okay if you have done something now one thinking that you were not going to do that, but then that happened and you went for this route. Or I also want you to think about what kind of emotions have surfaced for you this year. I just remember the beginning when we all got locked down in March, and obviously the major emotions coming through were fear, fear because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know how long we were going to stay closed at home. If you heard the news, they were saying there's going to be a shortage of food, there's going to be a shortage of this. And so you already were fearful because this was quite quick to happen. So it took us a little bit by surprise. We weren't sure what to do. We were just seeing people dying, and that was scary. And on top of that, we were told that the world was ending pretty much. And so obviously the first reaction for everybody was to fear the unknown, fear what was going on, fear that you wouldn't be able to make it. And a lot of people have lost jobs and have lost loved ones. So it has surely been a terrible, terrible year. But I want you to think about, what have you learned from this? What were the emotions that you needed to work through? Because if you felt fearful for whatever happened, maybe that was a way for you to understand a little bit more about yourself and in which area of your life you felt more fearful about. Was it because you couldn't meet anybody, you couldn't go and see your parents and friends, and so loneliness made you feel like you felt like you were lonely, and so that scared you? And so you started thinking maybe about your future and how you want your life to turn out. And so now maybe you're thinking, I want to be surrounded by a lot of friends, or I want to make sure I never feel like this again. Maybe you started thinking that actually, what was falling apart for you was something that you've been wanting to fall apart for forever, but you never really had the courage to do it yourself, and then it just happened. So it was a relief, but was also maybe a lesson for you to understand that when things have to fall, they just fall, and there is no reason to waste time and be fearful about it. There are a lot of different situations for everybody. So I really want you to consider this before you end the year and think about your new year's resolutions, if you're that kind of person that does it, or just thinking about how the new year is going to be better. Think about what's going on. If you're that kind of person that has been trying really hard to get a job and nothing is happening, ask yourself, do I really want to pursue this kind of career? Or is it the money that I'm interested in? Is it the feeling of what I want to be? Is it that I need validation? What is the reason why I keep on pursuing this and I get rejected? There is a message that is great for you there. And if you're able to figure that out, then obviously you can only move forward from that, because there's so much information from the things that happened to us. I had this situation in July, and I had to take a decision and take action in a way that I wasn't really thinking about. And what transpire came through for me was that oftentimes the way to get to a place, it's not necessarily as planned, as smooth, and as quick as we have it in our head. Sometimes we need to go through a cathartic moment, let's call it this way, that might not be pleasant, because you need to shed. a lot of things, a lot of emotions. You need to learn to behave differently, and you need to learn to be a different kind of person in order for you to step up to the next level. I will be talking in detail about everything in the new um, part of the podcast in 2021. But the reason why I was popping here and I told you this is because I'm pretty sure you've had this situation, because all the conversations that I had lately in the last few months with clients and friends, we all had some sort of something happening to us on a personal level, which for a lot of us has nothing to do with the pandemic. We were kind of fine, working from home, and a little bit annoyed and bored not to be able to travel or go wherever we wanted or meet our friends and family easily, but that wasn't bothering us too much. I personally got into a very creative state, so I wasn't bothered too much, but things have happened to me. And the same has happened to a lot of people that I know. And so I'm pretty sure something important has happened to you too. And I want you to really look into that and kind of draw closure to what this year has been and be grateful for what has happened to you, because whatever happened, there is a new beginning coming through. And even if it's been the most painful, because maybe you really have lost someone that you love, and maybe you really have lost your job and something else, but I'm pretty sure that something else is going to come for you, that is going to open new doors. Most of the guests on my podcast have had some really, really deep tragic moments before they awakened and they started to change their life in the best way possible. So see through this, and if you're still going through some emotions, hang in there, because it's gonna pass. So now we're going towards Christmas, and I know that for a lot of us it's not going to be possible to spend Christmas with a lot of people. I am finally going home, and I am going to stay with my mom. I'm not even sure my brother is allowed to come visit us, because Italy has some pretty strict restrictions from the 21st of December until the end of the year, to avoid people getting together too much and worsen the situation. And so I don't know how the situation is going to be for you, but whatever the situation is, just hang in there and accept the situation, because that is another thing that I learned this year. In releasing control, I had to first accept the situation. I had to accept myself. I had to accept that the choices that I made were the right ones, even if after I made the choice, I was kind of thinking about how I could have done that differently, but really I couldn't. So I had to accept that things were not as I thought they were, and let go of what I thought the outcome was going to be and how quick I was going to get something. And that really helped me, because it released a lot of fear and worry and emotions that were surfacing up for me, because I was living in this dream of mine in my head where things were going to be as I had planned them to be. And so if this is happening for you, accept the situation, accept yourself, accept the people around you, and stay within yourself. Ask yourself how you can ground yourself, do meditation, find ways that work for you in order to find a little bit more calm, a little bit more grounding, and go on progression, a little bit more today and a little bit more tomorrow. Some of you might be going to see their family, and when I talk to people, some people are very happy to see their family, and some people have an issue, especially Christmas, when you get together with everybody, and then there is the judgy uncle, and then there is that person that is going to ask you that. So there is a lot of repressed emotion going through at Christmas. And in fact, Christmas is one of the moments in which a lot of people fight the most, because there are all these old emotions that might have not been worked on, released. And so when there is so much going on, you get triggered very easily. So whatever your situation is, I decided to come up with a little present for you. I've created a Facebook group in November called Discover Your True Colors. And I do some free trainings, and I talk about intuition, manifestation, color therapy, how to heal yourself, and things like this. And I thought that if I did 7 days spiritual toolbox to help you go through whatever was 2020. And so if you still have some leftovers from what 2020 has been for you, and you still feel like you're not able to let go of all of this negative emotions, and you're still feeling like the heaviness of the year, come over to join the group and come to the training with me. It's going to be 7 days where every day I talk about an emotion, why we get triggered, and what does that mean, how you can release it, what kind of colors you can use, and all about that. So that, just to give you a little bit of help to move forward. And so it could be for you if you're still feeling like there is something from 2020 that you want to release. You don't want to take it with you into the new year. You really want to let it go and let it be where it was, but you're struggling because there is so much going on for you. So that could be the reason why you want to join. Or maybe, you're afraid of what's going to happen if you see your friends and your parents and your relatives over the holidays. You always get triggered by someone, might be your parents, might be your in-laws, might be the cousin or the uncle, whatever. And you kind of want to let go of those emotions because you're done being triggered by other people. I know how that feels. And I know how it feels when you stop being triggered. It's just such an amazing feeling, because all of a sudden what really made you go super crazy and start a fight, now you look at it and like, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter, because your perception has changed, because you have learned so much about yourself, and because in order for you to move forward in your life, you started taking different actions and you started reacting to the things differently. And that just puts you in a position of not feeling that energy that is negative and that blocks you. So if you feel in this kind of situation and you feel there's still something blocking you, you want to release the last bits of things that you don't want to carry on in this new 2021. And if you've been following a little bit of what astrologers are saying, we're going into the era of Aquarius. We have a conjunction, Venus and Saturn in Gemini and Sagittarius. I mean, there is so much going on into planets that are moving forward. So it's going to be an energy that moves us forward. And I know that a lot of people want to really come to the new year being like, okay, phew, I left all that shit behind. So if this resonates with you, it's going to be 7 days of talking about each and every single emotion. On the 16th, there is a lunar solar eclipse on a new moon in Sagittarius. So the first day, it's going to be related to Saturn intention and using the energy of the new moon to do that. And then I will start the emotions and talk about jealousy, shame, blame, anger every single day for 7 days, and from the 16th to the 20th of December. So that whatever is going on with you, you can start to work on it easily, nothing crazy, but just to be aware and be aware how that feeling plays out for you. What can you do to release it? What colors can you use? We will do a meditation. I don't know, we'll see. I'm intuitive and creative, so I just come up with ideas whenever they get to me. But yeah, if this resonates with you, I'd love for you to join me. So you just have to click on the link on the show notes, or go on Facebook and look for Discover Your True Colors. That's my Facebook group. Join me, and it's free for every woman that wants to release and change their lives. It's my gift to you to end this year in the best way possible. And you might meet someone new and interesting, and learn something new about yourself, and that get that energy right on time for the holidays, and to end this year in the best way possible. All right. Well, don't forget to do your assessment and figure out what kind of lessons this year has been giving you, and where you're at, where you want to go. And if you want to get in touch with me, you want to work with me, I do one-off sessions of color therapy where you can figure out what are your own colors. It works a little bit like if you do an astrology reading. They are your own colors, and they never change, and you can work with that to move forward in your life for a lot of different reasons. You can have an intuitive and healing sessions with me if there is anything that you want to release, or that you feel there is some energy block or subconscious block. We can work on that. Or you can have an oracle card reading with me. And if you want to work, I have for a little bit more, I have packages, so you can see that on my website, theintuitionqueen.com. Join my Facebook group, Discover Your True Colors, and join and come to the mini course Spiritual Toolbox that is going to start on the 16th of December. And then you can also find me on Instagram as the Intuition Queen. And I hope you had an amazing year, however that played out for you. I hope this December is going to be good enough, and I wish you a beautiful new year, and I'll see you in the new year, and I hope to see you in my group. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and happy last episode of the year. See you next year.
Your heart is full and wanting more. Your future's at the door.